everyone, welcome back to my channel. And for this episode, we're finally at the finish line for this project. This project has taken a lot longer than I expected. I mean, I've been working on this thing for the last 2 months. I had a few things, a few projects in between, so I wasn't able to work on this straight, but you know, I only need to finish this face and we should be done. So let's go ahead and do that. If you guys are new here, I'll be creating a playlist containing all the videos in this series, so if you want to watch it all in one go, you can go ahead and do that. Here you see me starting to work on the face. The original painting was actually done using watercolors, but for this one I used poster colors. They're Holbein poster colors, and they were a bit special in that they functioned a lot like acrylic gouache, in that once you apply the first layer and then you apply a second coat, the first layer actually doesn't budge. So that was a great advantage, and it was very helpful while working on this painting. I worked on this painting by section, so I started by applying a new coat of paint to her face just to even out the skin tone, and then initially you can see that I put in like this vibrant lavender shade because I thought that I wanted that for her hair, but then I put it on her eyebrows and I was like, nope, that's not happening. But I ended up just using that as a base coat and then doing a lot of layers for her hair until I was happy with it. I should have created a study first to see how I wanted her to look like, but at the same time there's a part of me that just likes being spontaneous and thinking as I go. For projects like this where it's just for me, then I like to do that. There are times, there are drawings and paintings that I do wherein I prefer to plan ahead, like to know how it's gonna turn out in the end. But yeah, for stuff like this, it's a lot more fun to just figure it out as I go. I admit the downside to being spontaneous like this is that you would have there would be a lot of back and forth, because there might be times when you'd be unhappy with how it looks and then you have to go back. That's exactly what happened to me when I was working on the hair. There was some point where I thought that it was just a little too dark and I wanted to lighten it again and then go back to just having her with whiter hair. Luckily, the paints that I used are very forgiving. They're very opaque, so you can layer them on top of each other and build it up without really worrying about the previous color showing through. And here you see me adjusting the eyes. I didn't want to change the general shape of her eyes. I was pretty happy with how she kind of looked in the first version. So I just wanted to enhance that, adding darks and then a bit more color into her eyelids and stuff. And really just make it a little slightly more realistic, and so she won't look so flat. One adjustment I did make was that I made her lips a lot smaller. It was too big in the first version, and so it just didn't fit her face. So I made it just a tad bit smaller, and then I decided to add shadows and to just make it a little more 3D or three-dimensional in terms of the shape of the face. One thing I would like to point out with this, with these paints, though, these poster colors, and I think it's also the same for gouache, is that they tend to look very different when you first apply them. Like for this one, it just looks, the pinkish red looks so vibrant and saturated, and it's almost garish. But once it dries, it actually evens out and shifts a whole lot. So that's something you might need to take into account. But again, these paints are forgiving, so pretty much you can adjust how it looks like if you're not happy with it. I did go ahead and find myself going back and forth because there were times when it would just be too light once it dried, and then I had to add more darker shades to even it out. But yeah, that's the great thing about these paints. Anyway, for now, I'll jump in the subs and I'll see you towards the end of the video. Here we go. We're finally done with this project. Thank you so much for joining me in this series. It was a lot of fun working on this project and seeing how much I've improved and how horrible I was back in the day. But yeah, I think I'll use this as a benchmark for future artworks to see how much more I can work on my art, and hopefully I can get better. I hope you guys enjoyed this series as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.